Hi Reefers, welcome back to Dan's Reef, and today you join me for another product review, and this one again comes from Hygger. They were very kind enough to send me a slightly different variant wave maker to try. So this version is the HG042. It's a more powerful version, although slightly different design to the two I'm already running, which are both 14 watts each. This model is 18 watts, so it's a bit more power. But as always, full disclaimer, Hygger were kind enough to send me another wave maker. They'd already sent me one of the ones I'm already running, which is the HG042, and I have got two of them. The first one, if you're not too sure, I did purchase back over a year ago myself, and it's been absolutely faultless since I've been running it. Hygger sent me another one, a secondary one, to do a full review on, and a long-term review, which I've done. So if you haven't seen that video, just go back from my previous videos and I'll try and put it in the description for this one if you want to check out the other version. We will be doing a side-by-side comparison between that version and this model, so we'll have a look at the flow rates and see what happens. But without further ado, let's get stuck into this one and we'll go from there. Thank you. Okay guys, as always, let's just have a quick look at the box. So as you can see, the controller design on these is slightly different to the two wave pumps I'm already running. The actual controller is backlit also, which is quite nice. And this one being an 18 watt pump versus the 14 watt ones I've already got. If we look at the specs, the flow rate there from 1500 to 3400 gallons per hour, or in litres, it's 5,500 up to 12,000 litres an hour. So it's supposed to be ultra quiet. We'll give that a look and make sure it's quiet. I don't like running loud equipment anyway, so the two wave makers I've already got from Hygger are nice and quiet, so we'll have a look. And I think it's a similar affair with these controllers. Again, if you've got two of them, you can pair them, so you can have one running as the master and one running as the slave. So let's have a look what you get in the box. Okay guys, so inside the box you will receive your controller for the wave pump there, and you've got a couple of settings on there: mode, frequency. You've got a feed and the light, which is the light sensor to turn the pump down at night time. You've got your Wi-Fi and your feed button there as well. You've got the wave maker itself. You get your instruction manual, which has got a nice bit of English in there, which is good. You get your 3-pin power plug, or 2-pin, depending on where you are. And then you do get a little bit of mesh foam to go around the backside of the pump if you want to run it, but that's totally up to you. And then if I lift this pump up, we can have a look at the design. So that little guard they send you is just to stop anything you've got that's large enough to get drawn in at the back of that pump. So I won't be running it because I've never had any problems with stuff getting drawn in. But if you've got tropical fish in particular, then you are probably going to want to run the protective guard. But the stock I've got, I haven't got to worry about that too much. So I'll just break the pump down and we'll have a look at the how it comes apart. Okay, so the pump itself is really easy to take apart. It literally just screws off. There's like 4 tabs that lock onto this outer housing. You've got your magnet for the outside, and then again the actual propeller just slots over on the ceramic shaft, and that's it. Nice and simple for cleaning. That's about all you can ask for, really. Okay, so I've still got the new pump on the left-hand side. I've moved the other model over, which is the HG042, is the black model. So you can see a little bit of the comparison between the two sizes. So obviously, yeah, the new one being I think it's 18 watts versus the 14 watt. You can definitely see the extra size. What's interesting there is I've just put it back onto M2 wave mode, which is your standard pulse for the wave, and it's just set to intensity 15, and that's the setting to how much it pulses. But as you can see, I mean, even down this side, there's still a decent amount of surface agitation. And if you look at the Kenya tree, it is definitely reaching all the way back to this corner of the tank and coming back against itself, so that's good. And over here, obviously, it's not super close to the surface, but it's a bit further up the tank. But you know, there's enough turbulence there in the water. And I'll just drop it down a little bit and we'll have a look at it there as well. Okay, so I've dropped it in line with where the other model is. You can definitely see the power of the bits being flung about the tank. And if we go back over this side, Kenya tree's still got good movement. As I said, there's no other wave pumps on at the minute. The return pumps are still off. And even on the lower height, you've still got a decent amount of surface agitation. And as I said, the pump isn't super close to the surface. What we'll do, I'll just go back to the previous model and we'll see the difference in the flow. Okay, so I've got the previous model just on now, which is the HG042, which is the black one, and you can see that's on there. That's the surface agitation. So surface agitation on those ones comes to just over halfway really, and it sort of tapers off just towards this side of the tank. And then if we look at the Kenya tree, it's got a little bit of movement to it, to be fair, but you can see visually just by the top of the tank that it hasn't quite got the same power. And if we go back to the new one now, we'll hopefully see a difference. Okay, and again, just back to the new one. No other pumps are on at the moment. You can just see, like, at the top of the tank, on the water surface, it just creates that little bit more flow in the middle of the tank, and it does carry on further over to this corner, which is on the far side. I mean, this is a 5 foot long tank, so, and again, if you're going on the Kenya tree, it's definitely got a lot more movement up this end of the tank. So on the face of it, for what I want it to do, which is blow across these SPS, it looks like it's going to be pretty decent. We'll have a look at the controller next. Okay, so your Wi-Fi settings, when it's displayed as N, that means it's in standalone mode. If it's in M, that means it's in lead mode to another unit. And then if it's in S, that means it's in followed mode. So if you've got two of these paired up together, you can get them to sync together, which is, again, is quite a nice little feature. Okay guys, so on your display, top left you've got M2, which is your flow mode. You've got the FRE, which is the frequency of the pump intensity. So if it's pulsing, you can fine balance that between sort of like a fast pulse and a slower, longer pulse. The AL off, which is going to be your light. So the light sensor, which you can see on the front there, when it detects, if you leave that out in an actual open room at night time, when the ambient light dips, it will turn the flow down into a steady flow at night time for the fish. If you want to give your fish a rest, then that's a good thing to use. We'll just get the display back on. Your FL on the bottom left, that's your flow. So it's, again, it's 1 to 20 for your flow, and then your FE is the feed mode. So if you were to hold the Wi-Fi button down, it puts the feed mode on at 10 minutes, and then once that 10 minutes is finished, the pump will kick back in and it will go back to being on. So it's just come back on there. And then we've got your flow button. So on the same button as the light, if you hold that button down, it switches light mode on and off. And then if you singly press it, it will adjust the flow power down from 20. You can go all the way down to 1, and then it will count back up again all the way to 20, which is the most powerful setting. So that's nice and handy. And then next we've got the frequency. So the frequency button, or the hertz, that goes from 1 to 99. So you can singly press it. If the arrow is pointing to the right, it means the flow or the frequency is being increased. So I was running this on around 20 for the demo, so it was giving a nice pulse. If you hold it down, it will actually go automatically all the way up to 99, like so. And then if you do a single press, the arrow goes to the left, and then it will start counting back down the frequency. And again, if you hold that down on the button, you can get it back down to your desired level. So I think I'm going to leave it on 20 for myself. So guys, the only other thing to talk you through is just the different wave modes, and it's easier for me to show you that in the instruction booklet, so we'll do that now. So as you can see in the instruction booklet, we've got our wave modes here. So M1 is a constant flow. That's pretty self-explanatory. There's no pulsing or anything in that. It's just a constant flow set to your power from 1 to 20. M2 is your classic wave mode. So again, that's just an on-off pulse, and you can adjust the intensity using the frequency flow on that as well. M3, this is an interesting one because the other models I've got don't actually do this, but it's a classic reverse wave making mode. So what this will do, and you can see there, is that it will actually pulse forward motion, and it will actually reverse the flow. So that's quite clever. If in particular you've got it in like a bottom corner down near some substrate or something, if you want to try and keep the detritus off the bottom, that should work, which is pretty cool. And then up in there, M4, you've got your cyan flow. So again, you can adjust that between your frequency and power. M5 is your random flow. So again, if you want to just keep things really randomized with your flow, then you can do that. And then M6 is a single-sided switching of the wave mode. So you can see there it says single-sided switching wave mode, mainly applicable to using 2 wave pumps simultaneously, and obviously you can see the rest there. But if you're setting up more than one, then you can look at that as a setting, and it will basically piggyback off the other and vice versa, which is pretty cool. So as you can see, the rest of the instruction booklet, it just shows you your Wi-Fi settings. It tells you there about the light mode, gives you a little bit of information on there, and you've got your frequency, and then over this side it just gives you like a bit of a brief overview diagram, and on the other side it gives you some details on the wave pump itself. It tells you what power it's running, max output if you do get any errors, which again, the ones I've ran previously, I've never had any errors come up on the displays, but if you do, then that gives you some troubleshooting. A little bit about maintenance, a couple of warnings, which again, nothing exciting, making sure you do a droop loop, etc. And that's about it. So there you go guys, that was the product unboxing and setup of the Hygger HG042. If you do want to pick yourself one up, if you're in the US, I'll leave a link to Hygger's website below, and if you're on the US website, if you see anything on there you fancy, it doesn't have to be just a wave pump, it can be any product line. If you type in Dan's Reef 6 at the checkout, you'll get 6% off, and for you guys in the USA, I think you can get free shipping on a lot of their products, which is cool. For the people in the UK and elsewhere, I'll leave an Amazon link below of where you can find the same Wave Maker, but it's a nice bit of kit. Obviously, you know, the only downside I can see compared to the ones I'm already running is obviously it's a lot bigger unit. So I'd say size-wise, it looks on par to be very similar size to a AI Nero 5. That's the sort of size I could compare it to. The body design itself, I mean, if it was black, it does look fairly similar design to the Neros. But obviously it's nowhere near the same price, but it's a decent unit. As I said, I'll run it for now. We'll see how it goes. If it's anything like the 2 previous models I've already got, then I'm expecting high things because I've not had any issues with those Wave Makers. The sound on it is nice and quiet. As I said, it's just size comparison. I said the only downside I can see really is it is obviously a lot bigger than the 2 that I've already got. But, you know, I've got a 5-foot tank here, so it doesn't look that much out of place really. But yeah, it's a good little wave pump. Thank you for watching, and I just want to say a quick thank you to the new subscribers that we've had recently. I've got a couple of things coming up in terms of reviews, and I've got another Wave Maker coming. And that's hopefully going to be for a new project I'm doing, so stay tuned for that, and until next time, happy reefing. Thanks guys.